All right, we have Verdict with us from the very great guild, Thunder Ale Brewing Co. Welcome, Verdict.
Thank you very much, pal. How are you doing? Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing great. It's a little bit cold at where I'm at. I'm in the eastern block of the Europe. It's a little bit, it's cold today here, but we'll manage. I'm with the sweater. We got the air conditioning on. It's good.
All right. Here it's beautiful weather. We have like 17 degrees right now here in the Netherlands. So I'm very happy. Where are you from, actually?
I'm from Bulgaria. Born and raised here.
Oh, you speak English very well.
It's an accent. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I just have a good accent. That's about it.
Well, you do better than me, and I am even the show host, so that's something I can learn a thing or two from you. Well, can you introduce yourself? What is your role in the guild, the Thunder Ale Brewing Co?
Yeah, so I'm Verdict. I am a protection paladin of the server. I'm one of the considered what you would call the OGs, one of the people that started going and meddling into the hardcore side in particular of going into the paladin. And I joined Thunder Ale Brewing Company about 3 years ago, and the guild has a very interesting structure in particular. So despite the fact that I'm a raider, I can also be a spokesperson of it. I'm one of the trusted raiders in the guild, basically always there in the Nax speedruns if we're doing them. This is kind of my role. Thunder Ale Brewing Company is pretty much a hardcore-oriented guild. Think of it like we just want to be efficient. Speedrun, we want to go always competing for spot one.
When you say a hardcore guild, do you mean particularly on hardcore raiding or hardcore leveling?
Basically hardcore in the sense of raiding, not leveling. Raiding is what people used to describe hardcore as very, very competitive. That is essentially what we are in TAPC. Yeah, competitive raiding environment. Okay,
and I also saw your recruitment page that you are offering every raid instance at the moment. How does that form? Is that the same raid leaders? Different groups? How must I see that?
It's a very well-delegated leadership in regards to the resources being put out for who hosts what run for whatever. We have, for an example, for the people that want to join TAPC and they're just right now meddling into the hardcore and efficient rating, we have 2 Molten Core clears because you might not make it into one of them. We have annual AQ20 and Zul'Gurub. We have 1 AQ40, which is a little bit when the competitive starts amping up. And then, of course, we have the Naxxramas speedruns, which are always consistently speedruns with exclusively good players. And, of course, I forgot to mention BWL, which is once a week as well. So we have different officers handling these. And, in fact, I raid lead 1 or 2 of those if needed myself, because I have good amounts of experience with it.
If I am a casual player, am I still able to raid with you guys as a part of the guild?
Absolutely, depending on what your idea of casual is, because TAPC is a little bit of a guild that focuses on efficiency in regards to we are really looking for performance. If you can play casually, such as join once a week, if this is what the idea of casual is, sure, but you need to understand that you have to get in and kind of step up your game because you have people around that are stepping up their game. This is kind of what we're trying to push forward.
Well, I think that's a very fair thing to expect from guild members. Good to know. For Naxxramas, you have an SRMS OS +1 loot council system. How do you keep that fair and transparent for all your raiders?
We don't have that system, unfortunately. We are in full-blown loot council where we roll onto the items that we actually need, and then the loot council decides this. And this is exclusively for Naxxramas. And I get where that confusion comes through. Everything before Naxxramas is soft reserve +1, which means that you reserve your item. If you get it, you're +1 on everything else, etc. But you still get the opportunity to soft res 1 item and for you to have some sort of priority rolls on it. So in regards to balance, people seem to enjoy it, although it is a little bit of a steady gearing type process. You might get unlucky with it, you might get very lucky with it, but it's going to shrink the extremes of lucky and unlucky and kind of get you on a more steady level of progression.
All right, thank you very much for clearing that one up. Let's talk about that loot council system you have at Naxxramas, because your recruitment post states that you look at how well people are doing, how prepared they are with enchants and consumables, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But if I am a new DPS coming to Naxxramas, I do not have any Nax gear yet. That will decrease my performance as a DPS at that point. How do you make up to that I still get a fair advantage on any loot rolls and not let the top players grow past everybody?
Well, two things. You're probably not going to get a Nax, unfortunately. That's the first part. If you're an AQ40 geared player, obviously you get it's a Nax. The cool thing about this system and why it works so well specifically about Naxxramas, just to go into the second part of this conversation, because, you know, we have very solid roster with all the people basically in need of one item just to finish their entire business, and even if they get it, they still come to raid full biz because it's fun to raid that way. So in regards to how can you balance your gear progression, well, when 70% of the roster is full biz, I mean, you kind of get everything. In fact, we've had recently shout out to one of our balance druids whom I've really pushed to kind of make a spot for. His name is Hot for Dumb. He's a great balance druid, pretty much rocking the #1 spot right now on the server, which is super cool. You know, getting into that raid and just seeing how many people already are biz, it just funnels everything kind of in you. So yeah, that kind of fixes that issue in particular. But just to answer the first part a little bit more in detail, it's we don't really get, you know, Molten Core BW people in Naxxramas. It just doesn't do anything. We might as well just get somebody on the call, just come around here, you're already better geared, etc., etc. We keep Nax very serious, and it's why it's been working out so good so far.
Okay, so if I understand correctly, your Naxxramas party at the moment, or your Naxxramas raid, is just full at the moment. Are you considering to open it up like a second group if any AQ40 people are up for it and ready for it?
That's we've had conversations about this. It's a little bit of a yes and a no. It really depends. It's a yes and a no because we have what we call a dynamics Nax roster in a sense. Whenever we speedrun, we get the best. Whenever we kind of want to get with a little bit of a more chill roster, yet still go into the speedrun, we take everybody that wants gear and wants to come through. And this is precisely what we've been doing for the past 2 weeks. Think of it like this. We might do 2 weeks of casual speedrunning, if that makes any sense at all, where we're going to push for a timer which is below 1 hour and 30. And then on the third week, we're going to get everybody to try and beat the record, which is right now 110, which we almost did beat. Just getting a little bit unlucky with the Globulus bathing. It just totally screwed us up. But yeah, that's kind of to answer it a little bit more detail.
Okay, very cool. You're very dynamic, I can understand.
What keeps the guild alive for 5 years?
Yeah, that's very impressive. How did you do that?
I have pretty much no say in this, although I contribute towards this dynamic myself, and not just me. Tapsi is very special in that regard. You have people who wish to raid and want to pump and want to perform, and then all of a sudden the guildmaster is like, hey man, can you step down so we take a new guy? Nobody says no. That's a very interesting thing. For example, I have full best in slot protection gear for both threat avoidance, which is like a lot of pieces, right? And I often enough sign up and I just get asked, hey man, we want to take this other protection paladin, just, you know, they get some gear, would you like to step down? Sure. Everybody does this for everybody, which is something very, very pretty and something very cool, which I don't see with other guilds doing. It's like, yeah, let's go ahead. I'm going to rest this week. No issues.
Oh, that's very nice that you also give other opportunity to other guild members that also want to get included. That's
sure,
cool.
Of course.
Very nice. I'd like to know you a little bit better as Verdict, the content creator, because you are a content creator, right?
Indeed. Yep, I am. I am a content creator. I run 2 YouTube channels and edit for a third one. I've basically been doing this for quite some time now. It's a full-time thing for systems so far, and it's been working out great. I have a channel which has nothing related to do with World of Warcraft, so I won't even mention that. And then the second channel, which is World of Warcraft created, and it started off with Turtle WoW content, and I've done some very good, I would like to at least express it as such community service. Not sure if you yourself have seen this. If you have heard about this patchwork DPS sheet, have you ever heard about that one?
I heard about it, but I cannot say anything about it.
Yeah, well, I'm the guy who made it, basically. Yeah, I'm the dude who just ran that thing, and the purpose of it was very simple. It was just, amidst all the class changes, which people were so excited about, to see what is the top percentile in performance. Like, what is the top 25 cut of the best players going to perform in terms of percentage, and then exact an average on it. And the results proved to be somewhere in the ballpark of kind of upwards of 95% accurate, which gave us a very good representation for the sheet. And the sheet right now is discontinued, no longer functions, because I've kindly requested the owner of the logs to kind of just go ahead and do proper filtering on the website, so we no longer need it. That's already on the website, but just one of the few community things which I've done with the Turtle Wow guys.
All right, very cool. Was it a lot of work?
Oh, it was idiotic amounts of work. It was great. The sheet took me roughly about 4 hours every single day of, like, just to give a little bit of an explanation on this, because the logging system for fan servers is near non-existent. And yet people have passion and desire to be competitive with one another and to express their numbers and sheets and stuff like this. So the logging system was pretty much something that just stood on life support up until the sheet came through. The sheet in its first week got roughly about 5,000 clicks onto the sheet itself. Like 5,000 people saw that sheet, which was amazing. Like, obviously it blew up very, very fast, which was very cool. The fact of the matter is that the sheet itself was very hard to make because the filtering was non-existent onto the log servers, which made me, I had to type in every single name of every single player of every single guild and look if they rated that week, manually one by one. For the outside, just for the love of Turtle Wow and just that representation. That's what I did.
That's some true dedication, I can imagine.
I regret it.
I understand that one.
I lost some sleep. I was dreaming about that sheet at one point.
Yeah, I know how it is to have a passion project. I made an AI NPC on retail hardcore and made it PvP enabled 24/7, and when people walked past them, it picked up on the conversation and replied through ChatGPT to that person. Also with a personality. It was absolutely amazing. And I had Eric Cartman personality, and they also gave him an emotion, a state of mind.
Wow.
And it was absolutely wild, but Blizzard kept banning it, so eventually I had to retire it. That was just too bad.
Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame. I guess probably because it connected the dots as if it is factually a bot, which it is. Perhaps that's
absolutely.
why. That's cool, man. That's cool.
Just imagine an NPC in World of Warcraft with a specific task or a specific story that is just getting triggered because dialogue has to be played. So as a player, you have to ask him something to give him the information you need. But I totally get you to have too much time spent on one little project that keep you up at night. Did your guild ever do something that would undermine your relationship with the devs at some point?
Well, we're not a particular fan. I think I say this, I speak for the guild as I say this, but, just keep your mind out that perhaps this is not how everybody aligns. We are not particular fans of the devs and how they change things, specifically class-oriented, and we do like to just badmouth them every once in a while, but it's in a playful manner. At least I would describe it, what I do, in a playful manner. We have done some exploiting, right? We have done definitely some exploiting in the past, never around any of the competitive runs. Of course, we just want to make that clear. But yeah, we have done some exploiting, and we have had a little bit of a pampering from the devs. Don't do that again. So that's as much as I'll say about it. I can provide something from my end. In general, just Turtle Wow seems healthier than it's ever been. It just, despite how much variety they brought, which was expected, kind of, if you think about it, the class changes are a big thing. Class changes number 2 are far much more detached from what class changes number 1 are going to be. And let alone number 1 from the original vanilla. So you would expect tons of people to leave. In fact, the matter is tons of people left. The new people who came absolutely love 95, if not more percent of the changes. And I kind of notice a little bit of a thing here, because I do like to meddle with the fabrics of the server and kind of see how people think. I am, after all, a community-driven content creator, and I try to get what people think about it. It seems like the people who don't like the class changes are basically us, the competitive players, because we have a little bit more extra reasoning why not to like them. But your average Joe is in mad love with all of them, which is something so amazing. And Turtle Wow has just one bad thing, in my opinion. Just one bad thing. Nothing else, what I would describe it. And that's the client is hot garbage. Unfortunately, it's just simply horrible. But we know that they're working on something new, and hopefully that transitions well.
Yeah, you're probably talking about the Unreal Engine, right?
Indeed.
Yeah, I'm
Indeed.
really looking forward to that one as well. My cat's coming into the mic, so I think he is signaling that we are all out of time. I will move him from the mic now so I can have a proper outro. You're going to be locked up next time, boy.
Oh, that cat bomb, man, that was beautiful. You need to keep that in the interview, man. You need to keep that.
I will. No worries. It's all right. Well, as a closing statement, we are, of course, a music show. What do you like to play into the next music segment?
Well, I would like to offer up the closing song by Red Peters, and hope you guys enjoy.
Thank you very much, man. Here is the closing song from Red Peters. Take care. Thank you very much, Verdict.